We stand afraid of shadows cast by doubt, whispered fears of what they'll talk about. Got dreams that wait in line behind our pride, but courage lives where fear is set aside. So many dreams collected dust on shelves, scared to fail, so we hide our true selves. But life will pass and so will all those stares. Nobody's watching as much as we think they care. So step into the light, don't fear the fall. The only limits here are built by walls. Tear them down and seize what you deserve. You're stronger than the whispers you've heard. Got plans to make, but fear keeps you in place. Afraid to lose, or maybe scared to chase. But what if magic waits around the bend? Go grab it now, don't let the doubters win. We wear these masks to hide what we believe, but truth has power when worn on your sleeve. Reach for the stars, they're closer than they seem. Your path is clear, don't let them steal your dream. So step into the light, don't fear the fall. The only limits here are built by walls. Tear them down and seize what you deserve. You're stronger than the whispers you've heard. scared to chase. But what if magic waits around the bend? Go grab it now, don't let the doubters win. We wear these masks to hide what we believe, but truth has power when worn on your sleeve. Reach for the stars, they're closer than they seem. Your path is clear, don't let them steal your dream.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully everyone is having an amazing week. Today is Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. Yes, 2025. How is everyone doing? Hopefully everyone is doing well. Salute to everyone who is here early in the chat. How are you guys doing? Hopefully your week is going beautifully. All right, so tonight is Tech Q&A. If you want to call in, the link is pinned to the top of the chat and it's also in the description. And while I'm saying that, let me go ahead and turn on the call-in link as well, because sometimes I forget to turn it on and then it just becomes a whole lot of mess. All right, so call-in link is on in case anybody wants to call in. I'm Tech Coach Ralph. We are engineered to win. So we have our series of questions for tonight. We have 8 questions that we're gonna try to get through, at least 8, and that's including if we get questions from the chat. If not, or if we get call-ins, whatever it is. But my goal is to end by 9 p.m. to go watch the presidential address tonight. So that's why we're starting a little bit earlier than usual. We normally start around 7:15, 7:30-ish, but we started at 7 because I want to be done by 9 to go watch the presidential address. All right, so that is the plan for tonight. Let's get into our agenda really quick before we say hello to everyone in the chat. So first and foremost, I just want to say a big thank you to all of the subscribers to the channel, those who are brand new and those who have been with me for a while. We've gotten a crazy amount of subscribers in the past week. It's been insane. So thank you so much to all of you. I appreciate every last one of you.
I appreciate you.
And a big shout out to all of my Patreon members, my tech barbarians, my tech prodigy, my technical explorers, and even those who sign up for the Patreon for free. I really thank all of you, because you didn't have to, but you just said, you know what, I'm just going to go a little bit extra mile just to get some more information, because I provide so much information out there. Some of it for free, some of it is a tiered content, the Discord, where you can collaborate with people, learn Python together, different things that we're doing in there. Sometimes even prompting to create some songs. So many things going on in there. So I just want to say thank you guys, and you guys are the absolute best for all of your support.
We the best.
And shout out to my tech mercenaries. Those are the YouTube members who keep the channel alive. Thank you guys so much. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
And if you want to become a Patreon member, it's techcoachralph.dev. That is where you can sign up and get one-on-one coaching with me if that's what you need. You can get access to exclusive content that you are not going to find anywhere else, such as my sprint reviews that I do with my tech barbarians, as well as the full Scrum night and the activities that we do in the Patreon, like the Python help that we had the other day, my office hours. If anyone has any questions, maybe a resume review, things like that, you can find it over there. So I'm pretty active in there in the Discord and the Team Tech Coach Drop Discord. If you need anything from me, that is how you can get in more contact with me. All right. So that is techcoachralph.dev. Sign up today, link your Discord to your Patreon, and you'll get automatically zoomed into my Team Tech Coach Drop Discord. All right. Quick housekeeping. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be going live with our large language model. Yesterday we were integrating, we were optimizing our workflow, and I made a silly mistake. And I fixed it. I'm going to show you what that mistake was. You're going to laugh at it, but we got it all working, and I'm using it now. So it's crazy. And then Thursday night, more ethical hacking. Tomorrow afternoon, we are going to be premiering how I was able to get Metasploitable for ethical hacking, our vulnerable VM, working on Mac ARM technology. We did it last week Thursday, but it was like we were going all over the place. So I just created a straight guide tutorial on how to do it for whoever needs it. So we have that. But yeah, so those are our upcoming shows. We have like I said, we have tomorrow morning, large language models. Coffee and Kata. Tomorrow at noon, we have our premiere where I'm going to be showing how you can get UTM to run Metasploitable, how to convert it into a UTM friendly file. And then Thursday night, we're going to continue with ethical hacking. All right. So that is our next upcoming 3 shows. Tune in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know every time we drop new content. All right. Okay. So other thing to mention. Do me a big favor. If you haven't done so already, take the traumatic brain injury questionnaire. I'm going to drop the link right now in the chat. My cousin, who suffered a traumatic brain injury last year due to a biking accident, has been collecting data to help people who are either suffering from a traumatic brain injury or people who have a loved one who is suffering from a traumatic brain injury, to help them help them deal with that. She is a mathematician and a system engineer, and she's collecting data to help people out with that. All right. So she just told me the other day she just got her podcasting equipment. She's going to start putting content together. All right. So definitely be on the lookout for that. As soon as she's ready, I'm going to bring her on, have her talk about it, share her experience and how you can find out more information as soon as she's ready. All right. Other announcements. Let's see. That's about it. That is about it. We are good to go. Let me check the chat and then we will get to our questions. Let me say hello to my friends in the chat. Let's go over here. All right. So we have in the building bright and early J-Lo on the track video product. Oh my goodness. I don't know why this does this to me. It really doesn't like me. All right, let's do this. Let's put it like that. Go right here. We have J-Lo on the track. Video production says, The Whisper you heard. Good evening, J-Lo on the track. How are you doing tonight? Hopefully everything is going well with you. We got Farron Perry in the building. Says, was this intro song made by AI? Affirmative. Farron Perry, it was made by AI. That is part of the first album, Victory. That song is called Afraid of What? And that's one of my favorite songs. It's almost like every song is my favorite song on the albums, but that is one of my favorite songs. Afraid of what? What are we afraid of, right? We always are letting other people's thoughts and ideas and their wants stand in our way, right? And we become afraid of succeeding, afraid of success. So I'm like, you know what? What are we afraid of? Let's just go out there and get it. Let's not let them hold us back. All right. But yes, that is definitely a song made by AI. Victory out. It's on the Victory album. It is available on all major streaming platforms. Just search for Tech Coach Ralph. You will find the Victory album. You'll find the Abandoned album, and you'll find the Fallen Down single available now. So definitely check that out. Thank you. All right, what else we got? We have my guy, A.R. Smitty, in the building. Says, what up, though, Tech Coach Ralph? What up, though, A.R. Smitty? How are you doing tonight? All right, well, with that being said, we are ready to get started. We are ready to get started with our questions. I could not be more excited, all right? So, we have some good questions tonight. Let's jump into it, why don't we? So, move this over here. And let's get to it. Let me see if this is going to work. Let's go to, nope. Give me a second. Let's do this. All right. Let's get to our first question. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this 2 questions, chat break, 2 questions, chat break, so we can get to our 8. But if somebody calls in, they'll get priority. If somebody asks a question in the chat, they also get priority than the questions that I have, because you guys are numero uno. I'm here to add value into each and every one of your lives. All right. So with that being said, let's get to it. First question of the night.
Another one.
Mental harassment in IT. How it's breaking people like me. All right. So it says, I never thought I'd be writing this, but here I am. The IT industry is supposed to be about skill, effort, and teamwork. But sometimes, no matter how much you give, you're still treated like nothing. Not because you're bad at your job, but because someone in power decides to target you. Whoa. says, for months now, I've been dealing with workplace harassment. It started with small things, constant targeting, being questioned unnecessarily, and being blamed for problems I didn't even create. Then it escalated. I conducted a test for a junior employee, a reference hire who failed miserably. Somebody was telling me today how much more important networking is than resumes, than what you can actually do. But apparently, this person says the reference hire who failed miserably. Instead of accepting that he wasn't fit for the job, his influential contact at the company, an investor turned employee, made me his target. Bruh. That sounds like the story that I heard about, like this executive who was about to quit over somebody she just happened to meet at some conference. The company was like, this person doesn't have the skills. Like, oh no, you better hire this person or else. That's how I interpreted the story. But anyways, then yesterday I sent a simple work-related message and he twisted my words to make it seem like I was being disrespectful. He humiliated me in front of everyone, created a scene, and when I asked my colleagues in the room if I had disrespected anyone, they stayed silent because of job security. I don't know. I mean, I'm not doing the same. Look, everybody for themselves, all right? Later, those same people who came to me privately and said, we know how he is. Just ignore it. We can't do anything. But here I am. thinking, if there was unity, no one could destroy me. There is no such thing. There is no such thing as unity. Take that from me. There is no such thing as family. There's no such thing as unity. There's no such thing as community. I'll tell you that for sure. All right. Today I stood alone. But I remember whenever one of them faced injustice, I was always the first to stand up for them. Well, there you go, being a social justice warrior and it biting you in the butt. My friend Mitch, he is for the people, and look what that got him. All right, it says this is our so-called society, silent when it matters, offering sympathy when it is too late. When I finally spoke up to my boss, the toxic guy manipulated the situation further, showing only parts of my message to turn people against me. Today, he came in early just to create a scene, yelled at me, blamed me for random things, and even mocked me when I broke down saying women always use crying as a weapon. That's messed up. I already tried to resign 15 days ago, but my boss stopped me saying, I will never, ever lose you. Okay. At the end of the day, I want business. Even today, after everything, when I asked for resignation again, he said, you just got promoted as team lead. Well, congratulations for being promoted for team lead at a toxic workplace. Says, this is your prime time for a hike. Don't quit. He convinced me to stay, but I'm still scared. Don't be scared. This is what mental harassment looks like in IT. It's not always direct abuse. It's manipulation, humiliation, and gaslighting. It's people using power to make you feel worthless while others stay silent out of fear. I'm on work from home for 15 days now, but my mind still isn't at peace. If my husband and my boss hadn't stepped in today, the husband getting involved, I don't even know if I'd still be there. That's how bad it got. To anyone who is going through this, how do you survive? How do you deal with people like this? Because I don't know how much more I can take. All right, so here is my response to this whole ordeal, right? Here's my response to this. Let's start a timer. So I will say this, right? As much as there are these workplace HR rules and stuff in effect for these companies and things like that, at the end of the day, HR has one job. You got one job. What is that one job of HR, of human resources? The one job of HR is it to protect you? Absolutely not. It is to protect the company at all costs. It is to protect the bag at all costs, right? So you are in this terrible, terrible predicament, which it seems like I keep hearing about these situations over and over nowadays, and not necessarily only in the workplace, right? But what I'm seeing though is you are responsible to protect yourself, because guess what? The company is not going to protect you. Now you could either, which I personally would be on the side of just leaving. Like, all right, who the hell can tell you that they're not going to accept your resignation, right? Like, I'll just not come anymore. Like, come on. So for me, when you're telling me this, that the boss said, "Oh no, you can't quit because you just got promoted," I'm like, I just won't show up anymore. But my overall message to anyone who is unhappy with where they work or whatever situation that they're in, it is on you to make yourself so valuable that everywhere, any place and anybody wants you on their team. So you're not beholden to a jerk of a coworker or employee or investor or anything like that. And if you like, you gotta put yourself in the position that if you were to say, you know what, starting, like, I'm just not gonna go back to work tomorrow, right? That you could easily either find another place or you could easily not have to, because you got it like that, right? Honestly, here as a husband, I have a problem with you going through all of this mental harassment at work, and you just gotta like take it. I mean, the boss's obligation is not to you, it's to the company, but your husband's obligation is to you, right? And it won't be happening where somebody, whether it's another woman or another man, is mentally harassing my wife and doing all. I'm like, all right, just quit. Like, for me, it's like, all right, just quit. Like, we're not gonna go through this, right? Like, it's not necessary. And here's the thing, right? I'm gonna add this caveat, right? This is not what mental harassment looks like in IT. This is what mental harassment looks like anywhere, period, right? Whether it's in IT, whether it's in some like other type of job, whether it's in a group, like it could be in a HOA, it could be in some online community, it could be wherever, right? This is just the mental harassment of manipulation, humiliation, gaslighting. It can happen anywhere. So it's not a thing about IT. You're just experiencing with somebody in IT, but it is not restricted to IT, right? Like, what you said here has nothing to do with IT. It just has to do with people who are holes, right? That's what it really is. But I would say, right, if I were in your situation, I would definitely already start looking for another place. And I would, like, if you have resigned so many times already, that means you don't need to stay working there. So put your foot down. If you're going to resign, they don't take you seriously because you keep resigning and then you keep coming back, right? That's what's happening here. You keep resigning, but then you keep coming back. Like, there is no boss that is that powerful that can force you to stay at a company. For me, when I say I'm out, then I am out. And that's why, hi, Miss Freckles. That's why, my dear friend, Miss Freckles, I always say, do not be afraid to burn down any bridges. This right here is an example of a bridge that should have been burned a long time ago. But you guys always have the mentality of, oh, but you never know when you might need so-and-so or that company. I'm like, man, you know what? That bridge, it's gone over. Like, no, like, I will never, ever allow somebody to treat me that way. And you should never, ever allow somebody to treat you that way either, right? Gotta get rid of that toxicity. It's not worth it. The job is not, there is no job that is worth it. Where you are put in that predicament of being treated that way. I mean, I don't know. So that's me. That's how I see it. I don't know what you guys think, but let me know in the chat what you guys think. Feel free to call in if you want to share your thoughts on that as well. All right. But for now, I'm going to wrap this question up and we're going to jump right to the next one. And with that being said, let's just jump right into the next one and then we'll check the chat. What's up, Junior? How are you doing? So happy to see you. Man, Junior, I miss you. And you know, I'm still struggling with my 3D printer. Oh my God. I'll talk about it on break, what I'm about to do with it. It's not even my 3D printer. That's the crazy part about it. It's not even mine, but I'll talk about it. But it's so happy to see you, Junior. Always appreciate it. All right. Hopefully everything is going well with you. All right. But let's jump into our next one and then we will get to the chat.
Another one.
Affordable test case management solutions. So this one says, where are we here? All right, so looking for affordable alternatives to TestRail for test case management. We're a team of 5 QAs, and we currently use TestRail just to store test cases. However, we're paying about $2,500 per year for the license, which feels excessive since we don't use most of its features. I ideally would like to find a more cost-effective alternative, preferably around $500 per year, if that is at all feasible. Do you have any suggestions? Also, what tools are you using to store your test cases? All right, so I do have an amazing suggestion for you. Let me start my timer. All right, so here is my suggestion for you. Now, it's going to take you a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but I did have my tech barbarian do this last sprint, and it worked out really well for them. So I would suggest, if you are just using it to store test cases, to use an open source test case management system. And I would say install it on a cloud provider like AWS or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Platform, right? And I would say you, as the QA engineer, should take on that project to set it up, you know, because they have a Docker image that you can use to install it. The test case management system is called Kiwi Test Case Management System. I have a video on this channel, which once this clip comes out, I will link it like right over here or there, wherever it shows up. I'll put a little link to it so that you can see where I was using that to create my portfolio. Part of my QA portfolio that I was creating in that live stream was setting up the Kiwi Test Case Management System. And it's free, it's open source. And you can set that up. You can log in, and then you can create your test steps or your test cases and your test sets and all that good stuff, right? The reason that I suggest that is because it'll give you some experience, some exposure installing your own software, and it is free 99. The only thing that you have to pay for is your hosting. And one more thing. If you guys are working like in an office environment, you can even install, I mean, you don't even need to be in an office environment to do this, but you can install it on a local server as well and use it that way. You don't even have to pay for the AWS at that point or for whatever cloud provider you're using. But that would be my suggestion. My suggestion would be to install an open source one because you're not using it for much. And then if you do decide to switch to a paid service later on, then you would just export the test cases, and you know what, you can export the test cases, and then you can import them that way. Where, you know what, this thing's bothering me. Give me a second. This thing is really bothering me. Let's go to, just move that right there. My OCD is kicking in. That works for me. All right. I move a little bit higher. Let's go right there. There you go. All right. I had to take care of that because that was driving me crazy. Okay. So back to business. So I would definitely say use that, and it can actually be really, really, really cost effective for you because let's say there's a couple of things you could do, right? To keep the cost as low as possible. If you guys have working hours, then you can probably install it on a EC2 instance, which would be the AWS term, whatever the equivalent is for Google Cloud Platform or for Microsoft Azure. You can set one of those up, and then you can put it on a schedule. Let's say your working hours are between 8 and 5 p.m., right? You can say, all right, I need to automatically have this server come on around 7 a.m. and I want it to automatically turn off around like 7 p.m., right? So in case somebody comes in a little bit early, in case somebody stays a little bit later, and that way, and you don't even need to assign it an IP address. You can just have it get it like one of those public URLs that you can access it from, right? But you don't need to have a custom IP address. You don't, because this is an internal tool. So my recommendation would be, so then now you're keeping the cost as low as possible. You're setting it up on a AWS or on a server yourself. So you're getting some cloud, a little bit of cloud experience, and you're getting a little bit of Docker experience installing these applications. And you're responsible for the maintenance, right? So it's a little bit of overhead, but it is a lot cheaper. It's a lot more cost effective, and it is not $2,500 per year, right? And you can have as many users as you want. So to me, especially for only 5 users, that is the most cost-effective way, and it throws in some additional experience. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful on your resume. So that is my suggestion on how you could handle getting a test case management system for the low, all right? For the low.
Let's get it.
All right? So with that being said, I'm going to wrap that question up. All right, so we got through our first 2 questions. Let's check the chat to see what we got going on. So let's see. J-Lo on the track says the struggle was real to pull up the chat. I hear you. Let's see. We got Miss Freckles in the building. Good evening, Miss Freckles. How are you doing today? Hopefully everything is going well with you. We got my guy Junior in the building. What's up, family? What's up to you as well, Junior? Hopefully you are doing well. Let's see. Junior says he took on other people's promise. So, all right, let me give you some context what happened, right? I didn't take on necessarily, well, I mean, I kind of did, right? But so this is my cousin's 3D printer, right? He's had it for maybe about 2 years now. He's never took it out of the box. It was like I said, "Hey, can you print this thing for me?" He's like, "You can take it," because I never even opened it. So I opened it, put it together, assembled it, and everything like that. Got to the leveling stage. This thing, it's like impossible for me to figure out how to level this the right way, because I'll go on one corner and it's like it's good. I go to the other corner and it's like scraping and stuff like that. I was like, all right. So then over the weekend, so last Friday, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna order this auto leveler. I haven't installed it yet, but I ordered this auto leveler. I gotta see if it's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna work, right? And then I ordered some new nozzles as well for the what do you call the thread? I forgot the name. I forgot the name of like the. See, this is bad. What do you call 3D filament printing? Filament. Yeah, I ordered. I got some black filament. I was trying to print something to like a camera holder for this camera, for this teleprompter that's being held on, and it was just a mess. So now I'm trying to get this auto leveling thing. It's just a mess. So, but yeah, I kind of did take on I did take on somebody else's problem, but for my own use and benefit, and it's been a complete nightmare. Let's see. All right, so there we are. All right, so we are caught up with the chat. I'm curious to see what Junior's gonna say about this. But let's continue on with the show. Let's see here. All right, next. Let me see what we got going there. Perfect. All right, cool. So let's go to our next question of the night.
Another one.
Test automation is not, I repeat, it is not a miracle pill. That is an accurate statement. All right, it says test automation is not a miracle pill. Yes, automation speeds up execution. Yes, it reduces manual effort, but believing it will solve everything, that is a dangerous belief. Well, first off, I don't know whoever thought that test automation would solve everything, but okay, let's continue. Here's why automation alone can't fix all of your testing challenges. It can't find unknown issues. Automation follows scripts and is only as good as a test case. It won't uncover unexpected bugs like sharp human testers. High cost maintenance, bad tests, frequent UI updates, and outdated scripts make automation a costly headache instead of a solution. Bad automation equals no automation, false positives, debugging nightmares, unreliable results that waste time instead of saving it.
Bruh.
So, what's an innovative approach? Automate wisely, one-off cases, UX testing, and exploratory testing. Let human intuition take charge. Absolutely not. All right. It says balance is key. The right mix of automation plus human testing ensures quality and complete coverage. Make automation adaptable. Build resilient tests with error handling so minor UI changes don't break everything. It says automation is an enabler, not a replacement for skilled testers who bring intuition, creativity, and critical thinking. What's your biggest challenge with test automation? Drop your All right. So I will more than happily go through this with you. All right. You want to go with it? All right, let's do this. Let's do this together. All right. So let me start a timer. And I'm going to start off with what automation cannot fix. All right. So it says it cannot fix unknown issues. That is true. Thank you. That is true. Automation, it follows scripts. It's only as good as the test case. But keep this in mind, my dear friend. Keep this in mind. Automation is for regression testing, not for new testing, right? So if you are developing a new feature, you are going to have to, right? You're going to have to test it manually, right? But it shouldn't be like, there's nothing that like, if there is one thing that you have to test manually over and over and over and over and over, then
Congratulations, you played yourself.
there should be a way to write an automated test to capture the results and to make a test less flaky. Because I agree that a sharp human tester will uncover unexpected bugs, but that should be at the very, very beginning. Automation is for regression. And if you find an unexpected bug, then you should write an automation test around it, whether it's a unit test or whether it's an integration test, so that you can always catch that case if it was ever to creep back in. Now, the high maintenance costs, bad tests, frequent UI updates, and outdated scripts make automation a costly headache instead of a solution. Well, you want to know what else is a costly headache? What else is very, very costly? Having an endless amount of human resources to test something that you like. With automation, you can test the same thing every single day. You can test it every single hour. There have been times that I run these automation scripts like every 30 minutes because I tested, something fails, we fix it, we run it again. With a human tester, that is impossible. And if you have a wide range of regret, like I have a test suite that is about 180 tests in one region. We have 4 different regions that we can run this test in, right? This suite takes about an hour and a half to run. Sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little faster, right? For a human to do this, to do every single one of these tests, would take them about 4 days, right? Nonstop 4 days dedicated to this. we have ran this test like 10 times in one day before. So I understand that the maintenance is a high cost, but the human maintenance is an even higher cost. And I would rather have a couple of QA engineers to be able to build out my test, and then when the script becomes out, don't let the script become outdated, right? So nope, I'm not buying that. I am not buying that.
Do not come.
Bad automation equals no automation. False positives. Well, write better tests. So this is how we'll solve a problem. Write tests that are less flaky, and write better code so that you can have less debugging nightmares. Don't have unreliable results. So just be better at be best. All right, just be best. Okay. So your innovative approach now, automate wisely. Agreed. I don't agree though. One-off cases. No, I believe the goal for automation, you should be able to automate as much as possible, and then when needed, on those rare occasions, then we're going to have human intuition take charge, right? Your application should be repeatable. It shouldn't be the wild, wild west. It should be controlled, right? So on new features, yes, exploratory testing, right? But we're not going to be exploratory testing the same thing over, because if it is based on exploratory testing as a major catalyst, then you don't know, like, no one knows what's being developed. The development process should be very, very controlled. You should know the acceptance criteria like the back of your hand, like why, like this is here, this is there. That's one of the reasons that I kind of like behavior-driven development, because there are no bugs. There are just unplanned features. All right, so I don't agree with one-off cases for automation. I believe automation is the standard bearer, and then as we go up the testing pyramid, right? Unit tests as many as possible. Integration tests with automation at the business level, have that as many as possible for that. Now, when we get to the UI tests, those are going to be minimal because the UI is always flaky, and the logic should live in your business logic, right? And then at the very little tiny top, then you have your manual testing, your explorer testing, all that good stuff, right? That is how I see it. Balance is key. The right mix of automation, human testing ensures quality and complete coverage. I would say yes, you have 90% automation and 10% human testing coverage to make sure that those little scenarios that automation can't catch, that you have a human person who's going in there to catch those. I don't think it should be a good mix, a 50-50. Nope, not at all. Not gonna happen. You know what? This post looks like it was written by somebody who was desperate for a manual testing job. But guess what? I believe that every QA engineer, every single last person who says that they do QA, they should know they should have at least written 10 automated tests. Even if they're the most basic of tests ever, you should still have written at least 10. Whether you're doing it in Selenium, whether you're doing it in Playwright, whether you're doing it in Cypress, you need to write at least 10 automated tests. Because how are you going to get better? Nope. We're not doing that. We are not doing that, all right? Make automation tests adaptable, build resilient tests with error handling. I agree with that 100%. Automation is an enabler, not a replacement. I agree. It is going to enable being more efficient, more productive. It is a replacement for people who fight what's coming, right? Automation is a replacement for those who don't want to do automation. Right. I believe that QA engineers are supposed to be skilled testers who bring intuition, creativity, and critical thinking and apply it to an automation framework. Right. So my biggest challenge with test automation are people who hold on to manual testing for dear life, and they might go and spend an egregious amount of money trying to become a manual tester just to find out that there are no manual testing jobs. Everywhere wants automation. So you better learn automation and apply it to your creativity, your intuition, and your critical thinking skills. All right. With that being said, I'm going to wrap that question up. And we're going to jump right into the next one, and then we will take a look at the chat. I see your message, Fair and Perry. We're going to talk about it all together. And then if it's a question, we'll even take it as question number 5, right? But let's jump into this next question real quick.
Another one.
$100,000 salary increase, but it's a bit nervous when you hear a but, all right? So it says $100,000 salary increase. However, I'd be isolated, right? It says, hey, I'm a 25-year-old male working in the supply chain and construction, currently living in a somewhat large city, and I'm pretty happy here. Plenty to do and have a stable job making mid-60s. Okay. Most roles in the area I'm in would allow me to get a salary increase of about 20K, maybe 30K. So you'd get to about 80K to 90K if I'm really lucky. Recently, I received a job offer, which I will probably be accepting tomorrow, but wanted to get some feedback from people who have experienced something similar like this before or have advice. Like I said, I'm making mid-60s, but my current job has little room for growth, and I feel, we're talking about feelings. And I feel like my current role is not valued at my company. That's why I was open to new opportunities. The job offer will require me to move to a very isolated and poor area in Virginia. No getting around the fact that the area just plain sucks. It's in between Raleigh, North Carolina and Richmond, Virginia. However, I do like being outdoors, so I'm sure I can find a way to stay occupied. The project is about 3 years long and it offers a higher salary plus per diem plus overtime, which should equate to about $100,000 more than I'm currently earning now. So you're telling me that you're going to be getting $160,000 because you're going to be having overtime per diem and a higher base salary, which could be life-changing with good budgeting. Even with bad budgeting, that should be life-changing. I'll tell you that. Still feel a bit hesitant about the area and pretty much leaving any extracurricular fun for some good money. What would you do in this situation? So first and foremost, I'm gonna start the timer. I want to say a big congratulations to this offer, to this opportunity for you to make a lot more money. However, you guys know me. You guys know how much I am a fun-loving person. How I am like, oh my goodness, I just need to spend all the time talking to every last friend of mine. I want to go and hang out on a Saturday night, on a Sunday night, on a Friday night. I cannot go anywhere, right? So for me, I would like, you know what? I cannot take this job. Nope. For going from 60K to 160K, I can't do it because I just need to be in a very, very social environment where I'm out there, you know, getting down at the club, you know, listening to some music, to some rappers that I have no idea who they're talking about. Some rapper who rapped at the Super Bowl, never heard of him before, or never seen him before. I just found out the name. I'm like, oh, that's who that is, right? All right. I'm lying. I am lying. If I was 25 years old, right? If I was 25 years old male, right? And I'm only making $160,000 a year, and you're offering me $100,000 more, not just $100,000, but $100,000 more, I would be so out of there. I'd be like, all right, well, let's. And I already don't like people as it is, right? When I was in my 20s, right, and I was working at the web hosting company, I would go home this literally would happen, right? I would go home on a Friday night after work. I get home around I get off work around 7, get home around, on my way home, I'll stop by, get something to eat, right? I'll get home maybe around 8:15, if that late. I would not leave until Monday morning to go back to work. Because I would have enough food for the weekend. I'd have enough to drink for the weekend. Sometimes I have to I might have to make a Taco Bell run every now and then at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Because I might be up working late. But I was like, I don't need to hang around anybody. I don't need to go anywhere. I was working. I was working on I was creating MySpace custom pages. You guys remember MySpace custom pages? Me and my friend, we created some amazing MySpace custom pages. I have to say, I wish they were still up, right? But at 25 years old for $160,000 a year, you better go. And it's only for 3 years. It is only for 3 years. So let's say $160,000 times 3, and you're in a secluded place. You're in a secluded place, right? So that means that there is no distractions, no one to bother you, right? There's no distractions. So how much is that? How much is that? Let me get my calculator out here. So let's say we say 160 times 3, $480,000 in 3 years that you would make just to go away for 3 years and probably not get into any trouble. See, those big cities that you guys are so in love with, they're dangerous. They get you in so much trouble. At 25, you tell me, oh, I don't have any responsibilities to anybody. You say, oh, go to some empty city. Do we have my number one question is how is the internet? That's what I'm caring about. But you better make your money. Make your money, especially when you're young, because then we make such bad decisions. I'm gonna talk about that because J-Lo on the track left me a comment on a video the other day, which I'm gonna talk about on Thursday during our first break on Thursday. But we make a lot of bad decisions because we didn't know any better, right? And then we just continue that whole cycle over and over and over again. That whole mentality of, oh, do what makes you feel good. That is the worst mentality that we can ever have, right? If you want to go visit your large city every now and then, it is nothing but a flight away. If you're in between Richmond and Raleigh, the airport is right down the street. I've flown into the Richmond airport before. It is right down the street. Go get your money. Put some money aside. Say, hey, I'm going to go spend this weekend back in the big city. But you better go over there. You better go over there, right? You can't be one of these.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
You can't be a knucklehead, right? Make your money. Be isolated. Meet a couple of other people, but you get so much done when you're isolated. When I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, when everyone else is asleep, I get so much done. So imagine if you're isolated for 3 whole years, you can conquer the world. You will be so much further in those 3 years than you would be in that busy area dealing with a whole bunch of people, because you have to accommodate and please so many people that in your proximity. While isolation is where you will grow. That's my take. That is my take on it. So take that $100,000 salary increase. Take your almost $500,000 for 3 years, and run it up. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap that question up. All right, let's see what we got going on in the chat. Let's see. And remember, take the traumatic brain injury survey, please, please, please. Help my cousin gather some additional data for her research, as she had suffered one herself, and she's trying to help get the word out, get the education out on traumatic brain injuries. All right. So let's see what else we got in the chat. Abandoned album is out as well. All right. Farron Perry says, let me make this a little bit bigger. Says, I want to become a system admin that then eventually want to become a DevSecOps engineer. I'm in GRC cybersecurity internship and have built projects around sysadmin / DevOps. Where does AI fit? That's a great. You know what? I'm gonna treat that as a question because I'm gonna think about this as well. All right. So let me make sure this stays up on the screen because I do not want it to disappear. All right. So let's answer Farron's question. Let me do it like this. I'm gonna take it down. I'm gonna take it down. I'm gonna put our question sound, and then I'm going to read it again and answer it for you. All right. So let's go like this.
Another one.
All right. So Farron Perry says, I want to become a sysadmin, then eventually want to become a DevSecOps engineer. I'm in GRC. GRC is governance, risk, and compliance, cybersecurity internship, and have built projects around sysadmin/DevOps. Where does AI fit in? So let me start our clock on this one. So the answer to where does AI fit in is it depends, right? Because AI, there's so many different spots that AI can fit in, right? So let's say you're not too familiar with the whole DevOps and sysadmin stuff, right? You could use AI to help build systems. So I'll give you an example, right? Inside of AWS, they have what do you call it? Oh my God, what is that thing called again? Amazon Q, right? Which is a chatbot for businesses. It integrates into your whole business. If you're using AWS, it can integrate into your Slack. It can learn everything about your company, right? Even your code base and stuff like that. So I can see AI. I don't know if it can do it now, but I can see AI saying, you can prompt AI saying, oh, I need to set up this type of infrastructure. I need to set up a what do you call it? Oh my God. The Elastic Container Registry and Elastic Container Service for this Docker image. And you prompt it to do it. And then it goes. And so now it's going to start doing it. And now it's going to be asking you questions like, okay, how many of this do you need? How many of that do you need? So what you would normally do working and like navigating through different parts of AWS or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Platform, maybe some of the code that you're writing, you can have more of a conversation with it with, oh, I need to do this, input these, as opposed to having to research and Google a bunch of stuff, right? That's one idea. Another idea is for cybersecurity. So I did a video on this the other day on how large language models are making it easier for ethical hackers to be able to catch issues and cybersecurity vulnerabilities, but at the same time, it's also making it easier for the bad actors, the threat actors, to be able to infiltrate stuff and exploit things. All right, so and they're using large language models, using AI. They're training their models on different vulnerabilities and stuff like that. So it's. Here's how I normally. All right, I'm gonna give you an example of a conversation that I had today on how I see AI and coding and stuff like that fitting into this realm. All right. So a friend of mine who is like working in tax related stuff, right? And I said, like, so with your job, what is it that can make your life easier, right? So my first question whenever I'm building something, right? So right now with the Tech Barbarians, we're embarking on a new project. We're going to be building a tool that's going to help make like interview preparation a little bit easier, right? And we're looking into a bunch of features to get that to work. So I always ask, okay, what is the problem that I'm having? What is inefficient for me? What is difficult for me? What is a hassle for me? What is that I just don't want to do? Right? Those are, like when I'm trying to build something, those are my questions that I ask myself. So I asked my friend, okay, what is it that you do again? And what are the pain points? What are the complex stuff? What are the tedious stuff that you do? And they were like, you know what? If I could have a way to understand the IRS tax code for different states and stuff like that, that would be really, really helpful. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, well, what about a large language model for the tax code? What about a large language model that you can prompt and ask questions. And then from that, if let's say there's an integration to it, like we do in the mornings, I could say, okay, so I am in this situation and I need you to, so it learns our documents, right? So I need you to process the document and see what are the possible red flags that can come back from this, like what mistakes might have been made, and it can come back to you and say, okay, this one looks clean. So now this one needs a little bit of a lighter review process, and this one I see A, B, and C. We really need some hands on deck to see what's going on with that. Like these are all the issues that are happening, right? So it could be used. So when I'm thinking about it, it could be used. If we take it back to sysadmin, DevOps, whatever it is that you're doing as that sysadmin or DevOps, you can have it as some type of scanning thing, some type of alerting thing. So many different ways. Like today, my friend Don sent me a recording that he did, which I thought, oh, you know, if we have enough time tonight, I will play part of it. But he's having a conversation with his this AI agent thing, right? And it like the conversation level was out of this world. You would think it was talking to a real person. So direct answer, I don't know right now, but the overall real answer is AI's role will fit in to wherever you, Farron, needs it to fit in, because we can build this stuff ourselves at this point, right? We just need to train it. We just need to answer those questions. What are the pain points that I'm facing in whatever role that you're in? So for me, like if you look at me, I had a pain point of the amount of time it took me to prepare content for YouTube. So with what I've been learning, I said, all right, I build a system that I just give, this is what the video is about. It gives me a perfect title, gives me a perfect description. It gives me perfect keywords. And I just have to transfer those over into YouTube. But I'm still not happy because I'm like, I could take even more time if I could have it do that automatically. So once we're done with that, our next step is going to be connecting to the YouTube API so that we can easily update our title, our description, and our keywords, and maybe even our thumbnails as well, to make it a lot easier for us. So AI has endless possibilities, but you need to be the one to identify what you might be able to use it for, right? So that was an amazing question. Let's wrap that question up. Alrighty then. So let's continue with the show. There's no other chats that are waiting. So we are going to move on to our next question. We are zooming through tonight. It looks like I'm gonna have an early night tonight. Although, you know, Rod Brown likes to call in with 3 minutes left in the show, but I will always answer my friend Rod Brown's call whenever he comes calling. All right, so let's go to our next question of the night.
Another one.
From being a nervous wreck to getting the job offer. So this one reads, from nervous wreck to job offer, 7 interview hacks that worked for me. So we'll go through and we'll analyze these interview hacks, right? So I used to treat interviews like pop quizzes. That's the first mistake, right? Winging it and hoping for the best. Funny enough, a lot of people that I coach, that's how they start off. Or they just wing it, and they just wing it with their resume, they wing it with their application, they wing it with their interviews, and then they wonder why they have to say,
I'm in a bind, Nate.
I hate calling on Nate, all right? It says spoiler alert, it didn't work.
Bruh.
But after switching up my strategy with some out-of-the-box prep, I finally cracked the code and got an offer I'm psyched about. Here's what made the difference. I built a cheat sheet. Yep. It says jot down 3 to 5 mini stories about your wins. Think project, problem solved, teamwork. Keep it short, like 30 seconds each. Glance at it before the interview to jog your memory. No waffling required. I even say, have a notepad that you can reference to just to say, to make sure, because there are some things that you should always, you know what, I guess since we're going to read it this way, I might as well just start the timer. But I say that always have some key points that you want to reference to, that you have to make sure, even if they don't ask you about it, you need to find a way to work it into the interview, because those highlights of yours, they have to be so good that even J-Lo on the track would make a video of your highlights of how great you are in your profession. All right. So I say like write down 5 points, right? I have to make sure I touch on these topics during the interview, and you can't miss on them. Always find a way to go back to what makes you awesome. All right. It says decode their questions. Listen for what they're really asking. Tell me about a challenge. Isn't just a story prompt. It's a prove you're resilient. Tell me about your teamwork skills. It's actually, are you able to work in our team that has diverse people and able to excel in group activities? Answer the hidden questions. You'll stand out. 100%. I agree with this totally. An interview is your opportunity to sell yourself. I was having a heated debate, which I clearly won today. Right? Again, about this whole resume versus networking stuff. Networking might only get you in the door if you even know somebody who can get your foot in the door, but it is all on you to prove what you know. And if you know nothing, then they will tell you, unfortunately,
do not come.
Unfortunately, right? Or maybe fortunately, right? Because you just bring down the whole team morale. So you need to share stories about how you are awesome. I always tell those I'm coaching, bring it back to how awesome that you are. Answer their question, but you have to say, why did me doing this actually matter to? Why should anybody give a damn? That's what you have to answer, right? All right. It says practice out loud is the next one. Talking to yourself in your head isn't enough. 100%. Call up a friend and run through your answers with them. It's free and forces you to articulate. I don't know. My friends might charge me. I'm just going to say that right now, right? They might actually charge me for helping me. Okay. It says, or try an AI interview tool like no free promos here. All right. It says, I use it for quick voice practice and feedback when my friends were busy. Either way, you'll smooth out your stumbles. I always tell my people, you cannot be umming and oohing and stuff like that while you are in an interview. You have to be on point. You have to, and you need to be able to think quick on your feet, being able to pivot. Make sure you always bring it back to how awesome that you are. Have those points. I did this is awesome. I did that. That's awesome. It's kind of like this. Have your 5 accomplishments for the last week always ready at the hip, ready to pull them out. Like, bam, these are my 5 accomplishments. You know, I was thinking, you know what? To be in solidarity with my federal friends, I might just start doing my 5 accomplishments on this channel every week, right? Because I was telling somebody, right? We do sprint reviews and we have to say what do we accomplish every 2 weeks, right? And we have to go and show our work. So I might just end up start doing my 5 accomplishments, because I heard it's a weekly thing now, right? What have you accomplished the past week, which I absolutely love. Right, so I might start doing it too. For this channel, for work, all that. I'm just gonna keep a running list. And you will see how much you've actually accomplished at the end of the year, right? So that's why I'm for it. All right. It says flip the script with the questions. Ask, what does success look like in this role 6 months from now? So they're telling you to ask that question, which is a great question. What would it take to be successful? I read the book Never Split the Difference, right, by. I forgot his name. He was a FBI negotiator. Forgot his name though. But it is a great book, right? So he tells you to ask this one question. What would you say it'll take for me to be successful? Or something like that, right? Which is a great question because you put the onus on the person to give you the blueprint to be successful, right? Says it shows that you're thinking long term and gives you intel to tailor your answers. Plus, it's not the usual, what's the culture like? Yawn fest. I agree with that. I hate that question, right? It says, warm up your voice. Before the interview, read something aloud for 5 minutes, article, book, whatever. It wakes up your vocal cords so you don't sound like a robot or croak here through, hi, my name is Tech Coach Ralph. Trust me, I've been there as well. So that's great advice. Stay loose. Sip water, shake out your hands, shake out your hands. Anything to ditch the nerves. You're chatting, not defending a thesis. That is true. And I also, I'll give you one more advice at the end, right? It says, end strong. Recap one thing you're excited about from the convo in your thanks for the time bit. It sticks in their mind. So 100% agree with pretty much all these points here. But I'll say this with the stay loose, right? I'll tell you this, right? Go do a jiu-jitsu competition where somebody is trying to rip off your head, trying to rip off your neck, trying to break your arm. They're trying to break your damn arm. And with that happening, you will become super duper loose because guess what? If you can survive somebody trying to kill you, then you can survive a little interview. When I'm going to competition, I'm like, I hate competition. I love the path here, but I hate competition, right? Because it is just a grind and it's like, ugh, right? But once the referee calls you onto the mat, says come, everything goes out, like you just forget about everything and he says go, it's you versus the other person, right? It is you versus the other person, it is you versus yourself, it is you versus your training, all that good stuff. So if you want to stay loose, you probably want to put yourself in a position that really, really sucks ahead of time so that you can become comfortable in positions that suck and that make you nervous. All right. So with that being said, we're going to wrap that question up as well. That was a great, it was not even a question, but it was great interview advice and feedback.
Another one.
Oops. I pressed the wrong one. Forgive me. I pressed the wrong one. Let's wrap it up. And Farron had said another thing before we go to our next question. Farron said, I'm trying to be future-proof because I'm transitioning to the tech industry and want to be head of the game, even thought about quantum security. So I am not familiar with quantum security whatsoever, but here's the thing, right? There is no such thing as quote unquote future-proof. The best you can do is continue to learn, continue to stay ahead of the game, but there's like anything can happen at any given moment, right? But my thing is you just have to learn and you have to be flexible and malleable as much as possible because one company can be like, oh no, we don't want you. But another company can be like, oh yeah, you're the man. We want you, right? So I don't like the term future-proof because it's like you're trying to say that external factors, that you have control over external factors. No, you only have control over yourself. So you need to make yourself liquid. You need to make yourself malleable. You need to make yourself adaptable so that you're not so focused on one thing. And that's why I'm very diverse in my learning. My main bread and butter is quality assurance, right? But you see me dive into large language models. You see me dive into DevOps, which this past weekend we successfully deployed our Urban Dictionary of Economic Data on Kubernetes, on Google Kubernetes engine. And we're going to do it again this weekend, but we're going to be doing it with the command line to make sure that we can do it with the terminal. And then we're going to end up doing it in Terraform as well. So and then we're doing ethical hacking on Thursday night. So I just like to be like very flexible, being able to pivot wherever I want to go, but honing down on one thing, but then being able to like apply it to different things, right? So I could be a web a full stack developer if I wanted to. I could be I don't know about right now being a ethical hacker because I'm just learning that, but I could do DevOps if I wanted to, right? In the course, there's Packer, there's Ansible, there's so many different tools that we haven't even touched yet, but we have time, So that's why I'm like, I don't like the term future-proofing. I like the term of you being adaptable to whatever is available out there. And, and that's why I appreciate you tuning into this channel because I go into a lot of different things and I force myself to learn them, even though I don't use them on a day-to-day basis. All right. So that is my thoughts behind that, Farron. Hopefully that helps, adds a little bit of insight. All right. Let's see what else we got. So let's go to our next question then.
Another one.
What is your automation strategy? That's a great question. Let me see the full question. All right. So it says, I've been a manual QA and automation. I've been in QA with manual and automation for 2 years now. I do mostly manual testing and automation in my spare time. I kind of wish that they would do automation mostly and manual in their spare time, but to each his own. I personally love to code and automation, but most tasks I have is manual testing. As you can probably know, handling both manual and automation testing is a lot. So I currently find myself in a position where I love to code automation, but I'm always rushing to get it done. And when it is done, the development keeps going, and I may be a couple of months have gone by. When I try to run it again, I can't run usually because there are some changes in the UI. Now that I have created many methods and many scenarios, it's hard to keep track of which runs and which isn't. I'm the only QA in my team and using Catalan Studio for automation. Catalan, I think, is too heavy for my laptop. Why am I thinking it show up? Why did this thing not show up? I don't like that. It should have showed up. What can you do? You can't get good help nowadays, right? But I see you, Farron Perry. I don't know why this thing didn't show up, but I got you. Thank you so much for that super sticker, Farron Perry. It was supposed to show up. That's why I don't like. That's why me and Stream Elements do not get along, because it never shows up when it's supposed to show up. Anyways, like I was reading. It says now that I have many scenarios, hard to keep track. Using Catalan Studio, I think it's too heavy for my laptop, so I'm thinking about learning Playwright for regression testing. Anyways, I realize my current automation setup may not be the best practice, so what strategies to keep in mind when doing automation? I also have some scenarios that I can do manually. It's very hard to automate. Any advice? All right, so let's put this right. So here's the biggest and most difficult automation strategy that there is, right? You're not going to believe this. You're going to be like, what? That's huge. The biggest automation strategy that you need is to get the company and the team that you're working on to buy into automation in the first place. Because a lot of times they don't believe in automation because they're not the ones doing the work. You have to show and sell the value that automation brings, right? Many times, we're very quiet, or we try to work on automation in the background in the vacuum. My take is that you need to sell automation so that it can be actually part of your development. The same way that unit tests are part of the development, automation testing should also be part of the development, because it's going to ensure that the application continues to work on a regular basis. You're talking about you haven't gone back to it in months, and now due to UI changes, it breaks. Well, your automation test should be running daily. Because guess what? What if those quote unquote UI changes that happen, they broke it? How would you know? What if something happens where it stopped working? Like let's say you tested it today, because this happens all the time, right? You tested it today and it's working perfectly fine, right? You deploy, it's working fine in production, and then 2 days later, it is not working because there was a user type input or who knows what that or I don't know, some change was happening, right? Maybe somebody else deployed something that if the automation was running, it would have caught the issue. But because you don't have automation, it's by chance that you're going to find it, because guess what? We as QA engineers, we don't test existing functionality manually on a regular basis. We just don't do it. That's why we have automation tests, right? So I would heavily focus on getting more ramped up with automation if you want to be successful, right? If you're a QA engineer and you don't want to be successful, then stick to beating your chest saying manual. You're gonna lose. You are going to lose. You're gonna have some fresh young QA automation engineer come in there and say, "Oh, I can get all these tests done for you on a regular basis with screenshots that can be reviewed, right? Because I've seen people who they generate screenshots and they compare it against how it should look to see if there is an error or not. If it says, oh, it matches the 90% mark, then move on. If it's lower than 90%, then it says, okay, we need to do a little bit more investigation because something might be wrong on the page, right? So all that to say that you need that buy-in, and you need to work your automation strategy into the actual stories that you're working on, into the actual features. The story is not done if you do not have automation as a part of it, right? And the developers are gonna be like, oh, but there's so many things to test. Well, you know what, Mr. or Mrs. Developer, you can do a little bit of testing too. You can write some automation as well, and this is how we're gonna do it. I think that using Playwright is a phenomenal choice. Many people have signed up for, or like I can see a big transition to Playwright. We used to do our interviews in only Selenium WebDriver. Now we're open to Playwright as well. So it's a very, very big and popular library out there that works really well. So I think that my automation strategy is that I make the whole team know that we are all responsible for the quality of this application. If I need some time to work on automation, and then I have to like make sure that the test plan is right, and then that they're doing the testing, then it's not often that happens, right? Quality and automation should be part of your definition of done and of your sprint goals, right? Everything is connected, because guess what? If we skip on quality, then if we don't care about quality, then we don't care about our software. I think I said that the other day, right? If we don't care about quality, we don't care about our software. So you have to make sure that as the QA engineer, that you're getting buy-in from everybody and things are looking good. All right. But that's my strategy. Automate early, automate often. If you have certain things that cannot be automated, see if it's possible that the developers create some type of endpoint for you that you can actually be able to test all of these different little scenarios, all right? So that is my thought on that whole ordeal. All right, let me get a little drink of my shot right here. And shout out to Farron Perry for the $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing. I truly appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
All right. Let me see what else we got for the night. We have two more questions. We might get to all of our questions and getting to add Farron's question as well. We are on a roll. Because it is going to be a very, very busy night. I still have a lot of work to do for this week, and I want to watch the presidential address tonight. All right. So with that being said, let's continue on with our show.
Another one.
Things to learn for a testing career. All right. It says, what are the things to learn in order to progress in a testing career? I have been doing performance testing for 6 years now. It's been 6 long years. I can create scripts in Load Runner and JMeter, plan the test scenarios, run the test, prepare reports, and do analysis. But now I'm struggling to figure out how to move ahead.
Bruh.
It doesn't have to be just performance testing. What can I learn which will help increase my scope in job and help me earn better? Is DevOps a good idea? Should I learn cloud? Should I do a cloud certification? Or shall I learn automation testing like Playwright, Selenium? Or should I look for AI courses? All right, so I will put a timer up on this one. So I'll say this, right? I will say this. You should learn all of it. Right? I would say, because guess what? I would say you would want to, I'm going to go more granular. you want to learn Docker because Docker spans DevOps, Docker spans QA, Docker spans Playwright and Selenium, right? Docker spans AI. For me, when I'm thinking about as a tester, great that you know performance testing. I think that there's going to be less roles for performance testers than there are for actual comprehensive QA engineers, which would be doing manual testing plus automation. So you definitely need to learn automation. You need to learn a coding language, whether you're learning Selenium or Playwright, that'll determine the language. You do need to learn some of the cloud, but here's my thing, right? Certifications without any practical application are absolutely meaningless. They don't mean much. So you need to be able to get practical application. Something that I do with the people that I'm coaching is that I'm like, all right, so we're building out this application. So you're learning the cloud. Well, then that means you're going to be the one who sets up our infrastructure. And I'll even have you set up the infrastructure under my account because like I pay for the hosting and stuff for the applications that we built. So, but I need you to do it in this format. So you're gonna have to do it in Terraform. You might have to do it in the console. You might have to do it in the command line. But I set up the people that I am working with so that they can actually build practical experience. So now you can say, oh, I built this front end of this application. Oh, I was the project manager where I designed this whole application that is available that you can go online to see it right now. While you're in your interview, you can actually, I can pull up this application that I built that helps me with interviews, right? So doing real stuff for your, to help you with your testing career, right? Using all the tools that a QA engineer would actually use is what's going to help you to further advance further and faster in your testing career. That is how I see the whole ordeal behind it. I mean, yes, you want to learn Playwright, you want to learn Selenium. I'd say learn both of them. You want to learn some AI. I think you need to create a full curriculum, right? Like if you're going to college to get full time, you have 4 classes, 12 credits. How do you balance that? All right, so you do the same thing for your cloud, for DevOps, for automation, because automation is even used outside of the traditional testing role, right? Because you can automate anything that you want with these libraries, all right? But yeah, that's basically how I see it. Docker, GitHub, Node, like how to spin up an application locally, because sometimes you'll be testing locally. What else? Jira, the whole Scrum process. Those are the things that come to mind. Those are the things that come to my mind. All right, we're gonna wrap this question up early because that's all we got on that one. All right, let's wrap that early. All right, let me get this off the screen. All right, so where are we at now? 30 minutes. We have one question remaining for the night before we get out of here. Let's see what we got going on. No, that one is a very, very long one. We already did 8 questions tonight, including Farron's question. We're gonna table the last question for tonight to next, because that'll be our first question, because it is very, very long and it's gonna take way too much brain cells for me to decipher for tonight. All right. So with that being said, I think we're done tonight. I think that we are done for tonight. Did I wrap that question up? Whatever, doesn't matter. Let's go back to here. So that is it for tonight. We went through at record pace. Got all the questions answered that we wanted. Some good insights, some good feedback, all of that good stuff. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you found this helpful and informative. If you found it valuable, that's my only goal, is to add more and more value to you. So let me know how you found that. And yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna go and get out of here. I'm gonna go watch the presidential address addressing both parties of Congress or both chambers of Congress and the American people. We're gonna be back live tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m., 7:45 a.m. as we continue working on our large language model course. We're gonna be premiering about how I got Metasploitable to work on on UTM. And then we're going to be going live on Thursday night for ethical hacking again. We're going to be working on scanning on Thursday night. All right. So that's everything for tonight. That's all that I got for you today. Let me see if there's anything else in the chat before we wrap it up for today. And there is nothing else in the chat. Good stuff. Yeah, that's about it. I have to ask. We got through the show very, very fast. Did you guys have a good time? Did you have a good time?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you were here?
I had a great time. I was very, very, very well entertained by the quality of questions that we had for tonight. But yeah, you guys know yesterday's price is not today's price. Tomorrow's price is certainly not today's price because guess what?
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is always going up. And with that being said, I'm out of here. You guys have an amazing night. Farron Perry, thank you so much again for the super chat. JLo on the track, thank you for hanging out with me. You guys have a wonderful night. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
They say I don't live in reality, and dreams I float like a stream. They say I need to grow up, who cares? Life's a wild, crazy thing. Sorry for thinking you can be successful. Magic in the air we breathe. I believe too much in you, girl, more than the things they preach. They say I don't see their ways, never colored inside their lines. But I'm dancing on the edge to my own rhythm, feeling fine. Not everyone is not me, and that's my favorite part. We are wild, untamed, and free, with fire inside our hearts. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Sorry for thinking you can be successful. Magic in the air we breathe. I believe too much in you, girl, more than the things they preach. I don't see their ways, never colored inside their lines. But I'm dancing on the edge to my own rhythm, fees they preach. They say I don't see their ways, never colored inside their lines. But I'm dancing on the edge to my own rhythm, feelings they preach. Not everyone is not me, and that's my favorite part. We are wild, untamed, and free, with fire inside our hearts. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Not everyone is not me, and that's my favorite part. We are wild, untamed, and free, with fire inside our hearts. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Not everyone is not me.
Now they see that I was right. Ooh, I stood my ground in every fight. Told them once and told them twice. Guess it took the burn to open eyes. They advocated for the wrong side, ignored the truth that I could not hide. Now they're stranded in the desert dry, chasing shadows with a desperate sigh. I hate to say I told you so, but the fire's out and the ashes glow. The fools who mocked me get the show. Truth's the only thing that grows. They fought me hard, pushed me away. Now their blind faith led them astray. Promises shattered, lies on display. They've learned a hard lesson today. Now they're turning back on broken dreams, wandering lost in twisted schemes. The truth they shunned is loud and screams. Nightmares are never what they seem. I hate to say I told you so, but the fire's out and the ashes glow. The fools who mocked me get the show. Truth the only thing that grows. Now they're turning back on broken dreams, wandering lost in twisted schemes.